Welcome to the channel, Gaming Army. This video finds us playing Conquest mode on Canyon Network. And a quick shout out to Violent Blue. She is with us on this particular drop. I'll leave a link to her Twitch stream in the description below. Feel free to drop by and check out her stream. So my plans for this drop already have gone out the window. I was basically just going to hide behind Violent Blue for the whole match. Unfortunately, she's in an assassin. That's not much cover, so I guess I'm on my own. Yes. Chivalry is dead, and if it's not, I think I just killed it. But anyway, we're going to push forward. We're in our Mauler. It is the Mauler 1P. I have it outfitted with 2 MRM 40s, 4 ER small lasers, 4 heavy machine guns, and a top speed of 54.9 kph. I've set up in the Delta 4 area on the right hand side. It's the middle of the map, and it allows me to move in multiple directions and hopefully engage at mid-range as opposed to long range. There's no sense on trying to take any kind of a long range fight with this build, so that's what I'm looking for, is the ideal engagement. Now, I've heard some chatter that we have some enemy mechs in a bad position, Echo 4. I'm heading over that way. I don't necessarily like going through the open territory. That's why I'm kind of bobbing and weaving, trying to spread and minimize the return fire that I know I'm going to take, but I want to lend support to my units engaged with this Marauder. Unfortunately, I'm really getting focused, and there's an archer. He has moved up on the ridgeline. I'll take this fight because my missiles are bigger than his missiles, and he's at the right range, and he's also overheated and shut down. So I'm going to do as much damage to him as possible, and he doesn't want any part of this. He's fleeing, and I also see an enemy UAV that must go away. So we take that down really quickly. Now, unfortunately, I'm in the low ground, which is not where I want to be, so I've got to get back to an area where I can get myself back up into high ground, or at least back into the fight. I still want to stay in the Delta 4 area because that allows me to engage a greater variety of targets. Again, keeping an eye on distances on this map. And there is an enemy unit, some kind of maybe ECM or stealth unit in the low ground here. We're going to push him up and out, and I think that's him on the ridgeline there. We'll get a couple of parting shots, but we have cleared him out of this Delta 4 low ground. The idea with the Mauler build that I'm running now is to use those MRM 40s at mid-range, strip away armor, open up components, and then switch to the short-range weapons as I move in to get the kills and to seek crits. Also, they're there for self-defense if somebody wishes to push me, but I want to use my MRM 40s to do the heavy lifting. So we're being pushed in this low ground. There's a stalker who's decided to come in. His left torso is looking really weak, and that's where I focus my machine guns, taking that left torso. Unfortunately, I suffer from a little bit of heat problems, firing all of those weapons all the time, but that's okay. So now we'll just reposition ourselves, cool down. My CT took quite a bit more damage. I wish I'd been able to torso twist left and right and spread that a little bit more. We're going to put a strike out on the other units who are trying to come around here, including this poor rifleman who we just stripped. So we'll leave him to our teammates and see what else we can engage with. And Juliet Marauder is not necessarily paying attention. Get a couple good shots on him, as well as the Warhammer, who is up on the ridgeline. He's not even facing us, so let's see if I can get a few MRM shots on him as well. Now he's backing off, and he's actually coming out possibly towards the open ground. I can't push the right side. There's already a cluster of friendly mechs on that right side, so I'm going to look for an opportunity to scoot around this left side. And the Warhammer has moved down into the open, and we're going to capitalize on this with all of our weapons. He's open in multiple spots, and this is where the combination of the MRMs, the heavy machine guns, and the ER smalls come into play, going after all of those juicy open components. We're definitely ahead on the power curve at this point. It is 8-3, but we're a little bit behind on our caps, so we do have to pay attention to that. It appears that there is at least one enemy unit, Delta 5. I'm not getting a clear picture of how many enemy units are over there. There looks like a second one, so I'm going to circle around, use the land bridge to try to approach that fight. And I'm also going to keep an eye on Theta as we pass through, just because I don't know where the third unit is. So I will be here as well. Now they're starting to rotate to the left, and gosh darn it, I'm wondering if I should have been on the other land bridge, but we're fully committed to pushing this side, so we will. And luckily, the urban snowball decides to come up over the ridgeline and drop down into the low ground. And we'll take full advantage of this, putting our MRMs to work and doing as much damage as we can as he runs by. I'm going to move off to the right since he's also moving that direction, trying to get ahead of him and see what I can do as far as adding additional damage. He's hurt, his CT is open, but I don't count him down and out because, as you know, Urbies are kind of tanky players. Unfortunately, I did do some splash damage to a teammate there. That's the disadvantage of having big splashy weapons instead of pinpoint weapons in that scenario. So we're down to hunting the last of the enemy units, and it looks like he is trying to do some counter capping. I don't think I'm going to have the speed for this, so I'm going to position my mech in between his known location and Theta, blocking his approach if he decides to try to go for Theta. I'm also going to angle to the left to try and be ahead of wherever he's going to run to, since there's multiple units coming in on the right side, and he does break for it. It's a flea. I really don't have much of a chance of running him down, not in a mauler at the speeds that I'm going, but I'm going to give it the old college try, again trying to angle myself ahead of where I anticipate him to run to. Now, my videos tend to focus on gameplay and tactics, so I haven't put a whole lot up as far as build specifications for you guys to look at. I prefer to save that if I'm doing a specific mech review or evaluation, and there's a lot of other formats out there showing the builds. And part of the other reason is it's one of the aspects of the game that I really like is getting under the hood of the mech and tinkering with it myself. But let me know in the comments if that is something I need to do more of on the channel. I've given you my reasons why I do it sparingly, but let me know what you guys want to see. And while we were chatting there, my teammates have managed to secure the final kill. Jumping over to the end screen, we take a look at our single kill, 5 components destroyed, and a whopping 1,047 damage done.